I just adopted her yesterday. Building my own shipping container home. Join me on my journey from construction to completion of my mortgage-free home on a homestead. All right, well, welcome back to Think Outside the Container, December 2021. As you can see behind me, my shipping container home on a homestead is now complete. And today I'm going to be going around and giving you guys an up-close tour. So we're going to make this pretty straightforward here. So here we are coming up onto the house. Yeah. I think it came out really nice. Got a shot of the back here. I like the white trim on the windows and the sliding doors. I think that they actually matched pretty well with the sort of gritty industrial look of that flat matte gray color. And I think it gives it a little bit of a softer, more residential touch to the home look and appearance. So I do like that. The decks came out really good. I did a lot of research and planning for those. And you know, I'll tell you, man, the execution, when I went in and did these little piers here, I had to pull out batter boards. I had to pull out strings and levels, and my experience with the batter boards from building the foundation, I gotta say, I was almost effortless putting those little concrete piers in there. I guess after you do this, after you do these monstrosities, a little deck is nothing. And let's take a look inside. Let's go inside. As you can see, the 3D model held true all the way to the end of the build. The model acted as my guide throughout the entire project, from framing to plumbing and beyond. This 3D model is available to download right now. Just click the link in the description below. Now, real quick before I show you the full inside of the house. Since my last video, I've had a few people hire me for my custom 3D modeling services. I brought their container home visions to life in a 3D model, and hopefully it'll help them in their journey as much as my model helped me. And so if you have a container home idea, or any home, that you would like to see actualized into a fully explorable, detailed 3D model, feel free to reach out to me using the email that I have linked down in the description below. Just send me an email and we'll discuss it further. And just as a disclaimer, my 3D modeling services are purely for the visual reference and explorability and not as structural or construction advice. Aren't you so adorable? Here we go. Switch to a wide angle view. Up the deck. Ring floodlight cameras. They're fantastic. These, I love the choice here. I found these on Home Depot, and I think they go really well with the color of the house. Love those. You can see kind of some of the scarring on the outside of the container. Those little indentations, that's because they were used containers. So I think it adds a slight little blemishing. It doesn't look as good as it would if it was a brand new container with no dents. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look ideal either. It's just one of the costs you got to think about when you're going to get a used versus a brand new container. You can see all those little scarring marks. There are ways to work around that. You can just put siding across the front, but I have no intention of doing that at the moment. Double sliding door. I think you guys already saw these. Let's go ahead and enter. Go ahead and get in here. There's a little There's a little person here. There's a little thing here. Don't mind that little thing. Let me move into the corner over here and get a good wide shot. Don't mind the little the little friend. So I think this shot right here kind of really just gets the point across. I haven't bought the furniture for the house yet, obviously, so I have kind of a weird thing where I've got my office in the living room. So aside from that, which I'll be, rearranging that soon. But here it is. I mean, this sort of shot, I think, encapsulates the whole thing. A 1.25 acre size is the size of this property. I live in an area that is zoned rural residential farm, so you are by zoning allowed to also engage in little farming activities like, having a garden and chickens and goats. They do put certain limitations on how many you can have depending on the size of your property, but it's more than enough for what I intend to be doing, because I do plan to be gardening and all that stuff, and chickens and goats and stuff. Should be interesting, but I got to start researching that phase. So let's just go to the kitchen first. Don't mind this. It's just an accurate model of our reality. Just ignore that. Actually, I'm not sure about this part, but I'm pretty sure that this is basically what we live on. I'm not sure about the dome part, but yeah, just ignore that. Science. So the kitchen. Little kitten likes chasing my feet around. The kitchen, pretty straightforward, more than spacious enough. I mean, it's wide in here. I mean, all this walking space is just like, you got all the room in the world, and it's more than enough, and I'm really happy with it. Big ass sink. Yep, I like that one. It's cool. Little different features and whatever, it's a sink. There's nothing like a really big ass sink. It just makes life a lot easier. Appliances, nothing special, pretty standard, classic oven, stove top, microwave, vent out the roof, pretty straightforward stuff. Standard cabinetry, butcher block style. I actually got these at IKEA. I think they're really nice, actually. Fridge. That speaks for itself, doesn't it? Cat. The house does come with a cat. Track lighting. I got these on Amazon. I think they're really nice. So, let's go over here to this bedroom. Barn doors. When I installed these, it was pretty fun. Not too challenging, but it did take time to make sure I got it all right, all the measurements and everything. By the way, flooring, that was a fun one. It was actually extremely excruciating. It was excruciating. I had to squat down and stand up for every tile. That's just the way I ended up doing it. So I must have stood up and squatted down. In the span of those few days I was doing the vinyl flooring, I must have stood up and squatted down like, I don't know, as many tiles as there are. There probably was a smarter way to do it. Maybe I should have laid them out in front of me before every time I put one down, I get up, go to the pile, come back, drop another. This 3D model is available to download right now. Just click the link in the description below. In here, very interesting. If I'm going to point it out immediately, do you notice any error? Do you notice anything wrong here in this image? An error, something that didn't come out perfect. Well, if you notice a slight curve on that baseboard over there, as if the floor is bumping up, then you definitely noticed. It's probably the biggest thing that I was kind of unhappy with. If you step here on the floor, there is a slight bump. It's not too bad, but there is a bump. And it's essentially because where the two containers meet, the wood floor of the containers are usually just a little bit lower than the steel beam edges of the container itself. And so that created a sort of elevation difference where the floor would be the wooden floor of the containers. Then you'd have that little lip upwards where the two containers meet, and then back down to the wood floor of the container. And I tried to buffer out that elevation ridge, if you want to call it that, by using something called Henry 547. It's basically a floor patching compound that's not self-leveling. That was the key for this one. I needed something that I could feather, so I could start at, 1/4 inch and then feather to 0. And that's what I used to create like a ramp on either side. And it's better than it was before, but there's still a visible thing. It's still visible. But again, it's not that big a deal. All right, let's pull back here a little bit. Got your mini split. All right, and in here we have the bathroom. Let's take a look at that. Another barn door. Pull back for a second here. I think the bathroom came out really nice. I think it came out great. Let's turn the light on. And you know what? It's pretty straightforward. It's a bathroom. It's got everything you need. It's nothing too glamorous. It's just a nice bathroom. It just gets the point across. Nothing too luxurious. It's not like there's a hot tub or a freaking jacuzzi in here. But it's a nice bathroom. So there's that. Go ahead and close this. And I'm sure everybody wants to know, what was the final price? Here you have the clothes washer and clothes dryer. Everything's all set up back there. I put a lot of work into deciphering how all this kind of plumbing and water heaters and all that stuff works. So kitty's in the litter box. We continue. Let's get a shot here. As you can see, you walk in, glass, boom, straight across, glass, front deck, back deck. Another mini split there. Yeah, I designed the whole thing. I found some of these. You will notice that the railings for the back deck is different than the railings for the front. I basically just did that to save myself a few $100s. Those aluminum powder coated rails that I got on Lowe's. They a little bit more expensive than these wooden rails, pressure treated wooden rails. But they're really nice. And I figured, you know what, if the front of the house, maybe I curb appeal, maybe want to make it a little more presentable. So I think that those aluminum rails do look a little nicer, a little more modern, I guess you could say. And I figured, since I will be doing gardening, chickens, goats, sort of rural homesteading activities that are going to be taking place in the back of the home, behind the home, I figured, the sort of like wooden, more rugged look of these rails in the back of the house would suit it. So, but they still look nice. Don't get me wrong here. Yeah. And then this is the final room in this 960 square foot home, shipping container home. Another barn door. And this is, this is like your bare minimum size for a bedroom. I think getting close to that bare minimum size, both by code and by comfort. More than ample space if you're going to make this like an office. This is more than big enough. But I think this could be a great kids' room, baby's room. I think it's more than sufficient. Though this will be an office certainly soon. I'll be moving all that back. I'll be moving that in here soon. And so I will be working remotely while looking out this window. Okay. What, man? Or it's actually a woman. It's a female. I just adopted her yesterday. She has like a little sicky eye though. I don't know, she might have a little cough or something, a little cold. Not the kind you think though, obviously. There's only one real one, and so she's got the real one, not the fake one. So yeah, so that's it. That really is it. That is literally the house. I mean, I could go into endless exquisite detail on all the little nuances. The devil really is in the detail. When you're building your own house, the devil really is in the details. You know, you don't just get like, you know, a nice square, you know, box around your windows by just snapping your fingers. First, I had to frame around it. Then I had to decide the type of drywalling system for the window. Then I had the drywall mud, put the drywall beads. So, you know, it's a big circuit. And let me just say right now, drywalling was the most challenging part of this whole house build. And I know some people might be surprised by that. Technically, installing the drywall boards, not that bad. The mudding, the taping, the drywall finishing was the most grueling part. And I would say that was mainly because the learning curve for mudding, taping, finishing drywall is the most brutal learning curve of anything I've had to do on this house build so far. No other, from framing to electrical to plumbing, no other task in this build took as much painful learning curve as drywall finishing. It was hell on earth. Maybe I'll go into more detail into that in another video. But if there's one aspect of building a home that you might consider that you want to hire somebody to do, drywall finishing, hire the drywall finisher. Maybe you can install the drywall boards yourself, but think about hiring somebody to do that drywall finishing. It's not that bad once you get the hang of it, but that's the problem. Getting the hang of it for me took, it took, I don't know, it took like maybe 8 days of drywall mudding and taping to finally understand, learn from past mistakes, figure out what I was doing wrong, how to fix it, and just one of the most challenging parts of drywall finishing was the psychological aspect of it. It felt so overwhelming at times. Endless joints that have to be mudded and coated and taped. They have to be coated 2 coats, 3 coats, 4 coats. And then even after you get all that agonizing repetition over and over again of every single seam, you still have to go back and then sand it. So, yeah, that psychological element of it was a little overwhelming, getting so close to the end of the build. It was a little overwhelming. You know, so I think if you're gonna do anything that you want to hire somebody else to do, consider that drywall mudding and taping process and hiring somebody to do it. It would have taken immense pressure off my shoulders, and it probably would have been well worth the money. Yeah, I mean, really, what more needs to be said? I mean, that is basically it. Let's step back outside. A lot of people want to know how much did this cost me in the end, and I'm going to be doing an update video. The final cost. The last time I did a cost update video was about a year ago, actually, and it was I was at around $35,000. This was right before crane day, right before cranes lifted the containers and put them on the foundation. I just finished the foundation. And of course, $35,000 includes the well, it includes the electrical meter pedestal, it includes, I don't think it included the septic system yet, no. It included that well pump house in the back over there. So it included the price of the land. But again, I'll be doing a more final cost analysis in a separate video. I just wanted to do sort of a quick update video. Let's pull back here. Quick update video, show you guys the final home. Make sure I'm getting a good shot here. And there it is. I don't think this indestructible tank is going to go anywhere. I do live in Florida, so you know hurricanes can happen, but I don't think this steel tank is going to move. It's literally welded to the foundation and bolted into those concrete columns. I don't think this house is going anywhere. So there's that. That's kind of it, guys. Just a quick one. The next phase of my life journey, I think, is going to start dabbling into homesteading, chickens, goats, producing high quality, nutritious food off my own property. It's still kind of just really it's funny. It's gardening, growing food, homesteading type activities is literally the reason I moved out here or at least when the concept to even do this in April of 2019. So it's been a long journey just to get to the point that now I'm going to actually start doing the things that I came out here in the first place to do, which was to garden, grow food, and do things like that. Of course, I needed a roof over my head to do that, so I had to get the house done first. But I didn't come out here to build a house just to build the house for the house's sake. I built the house because I needed a place to live while I did the very reason I came out here for, which was gardening, growing food, homesteading activities, things like that. But I'm here now, and now with the house done, I can now proceed. If you're asking, what about the fence? I already got the fence materials there. So yeah, I'll probably be doing that in a couple months. Before the summer months come back, I'll get the fence done. I don't think it'll be too hard. Kind of already designed it. Already designed it, figured the whole system out. I just got to execute it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. More videos coming soon. And there you have it.